Now, don't get me wrong, I love the show, and I'm a die-hard Whovian. I'll continue to watch the show no matter what.
I did say that, didn't I? Okay.
Hey, guess what? This is my theme song.
Here's the thing about Doctor Who. The entire show is designed in such a way that there's always potential for better than this. The entire show changes every couple of years, so if you don't like the way the show is right now, the next season could be better than this. And that is what's going to keep me here. That is what's going to keep me here. See, it's not like every other show. Other shows are something and will always be that something. And you know pretty quickly if you don't like that something. And if you don't like that something, then that show is probably not for you. And while Doctor Who does have its established formula, aliens, space travel, time travel, somewhere between science fiction and fantasy, and in fairness, if you don't like those things, you're probably not going to like Doctor Who, it's still designed to change. It can be so many different things within the one thing. Even within a single season, it covers many different genres and has many different feels. It's with all that in mind that I look at the current state of Doctor Who and decide to stay anyways. Because there is still potential for greatness in the show. It just needs to be in the right hands. What that means though is this season just kind of watched it out of obligation.
Obligation? A course of action to which a person is morally or legally bound. We are legally bound to watch Doctor Who. Do not question it, or they will find you. I'm sorry I have said too much.
What means obligated?
Obligated. It means when you do something that you don't really want to do.
I used to put everything on hold to watch a new episode the moment it was available to me. But with this season, I fell behind. I had to watch 2 episodes at once to catch up. I'm also catching up on Game of Thrones, so I can be ready for the new season of that when it comes out. And when I finished watching 2 episodes of Doctor Who, I watched 2 episodes of that, and I was so much more invested in that than I was in Doctor Who. Now, the ratings for this season have dropped dramatically, but I've never cared about things like that. I watch what I want to watch, regardless of ratings, because I like what I like, regardless of what you like, and there's nothing wrong with that. We're allowed to like different things, but I kind of get why the ratings dropped this season. It's been sort of, for lack of a better term, boring.
This is boring.
Everyone keeps blaming it on the writing. We like Jodie Whittaker, we just don't like the writing, seems to be the battle cry of the fans against this season. But honestly, I think that's just because no one wants to say that they don't like Jodie, because it would be all too easy for something like that to spark a negative reaction. What's wrong with Doctor Who being a woman? You just don't like her because she's a woman. Manpower, women stuff, and things too. Calm down, Booster Seat. That's not the case at all. And those things that I think people are afraid to say, I'm gonna say them. I don't like Jodie Whittaker in this role. I don't like her portrayal of the character. I don't like her performance, and it's got nothing to do with her being a woman. It's because she's trying too hard. She'll say something, say something, say something, and then the end is overdramatic. Even if the actual line doesn't call for it to be overdramatic. And it's a little much. In the episode It Takes You Away, there's a part where the 2 companions are stood in front of the mirror, and she runs into the room like, "Get away from the mirror, both of you." That line didn't really call for that. That didn't need to be so over dramatic. And it seems to be like that, like, all the time. She's just always on. And I know the Doctor is a very on character, but with Jodie, it just kind of feels forced. Almost like she's got her Doctor shtick down and is ready to deliver it regardless of the line. Previous Doctors have had line deliveries that were wrong. Also, like the actor misinterpreted the meaning of the line. Even my favorite Doctor, Matt Smith, whose acting I applaud, still had his off moments, but with Jodie, it's like all the time. And yeah, the writing isn't helping at all. There are way too many conveniences. Chibnall seems to be trying really hard to avoid the Doctor actually facing a real threat. Hear me out. Almost like he doesn't believe a female Doctor can handle herself. Everyone's been praising the decision to cast a woman as being super woke, but watch the show. It kind of is the opposite of that. Feels like. The air on the planet is flammable, but dude just happens to have a self-lighting cigar. There's a recently escaped convict with future weapons, but dude has a surgical implant that stops him hurting anyone. Giant scary monster spiders, but they're actually mutated earth spiders and they're too weak to hurt anyone and they're dying under their own weight. There's a race of expert master assassins on Earth with their eyes on the companion's family, but they're not assassins anymore. They're peaceful and they're just watching. Even in the finale, the doctor ran into Sim Shaw, who you might remember from the first episode of the season, but Graham faces off with Sim Shaw, while the doctor's stopping a psychic threat with an all too convenient neural blocker. Despite her telling Graham earlier in the episode that she wasn't going to let him confront Sim Shaw, which was a good moment with a good setup that like the doctor might have to fight off Graham too, but it didn't really pay off. Why can't she actually face off against a real threat? And why's every potential threat gotta be handicapped? In David Tennant's first episode, The Christmas Invasion, he goes up against an armed alien threat for the first time and yoinks the whip out of his hand and tosses it, then rips the staff out of his hand and breaks it over his knee, leaving the alien speechless. This guy's not messing around. In Matt Smith's first episode, he helps the aliens catch Prisoner Zero, then calls him back for a scolding. He ain't messing around either. Peter Capaldi's first episode, he arm wrestles the flame-throwing cyborg, then throws him out the window. He really ain't messing around. But when Jodie goes up against an armed alien threat for the first time, they have words. The alien decides to remove his mask for some reason. He lays out his entire plan for her, even though in his mind she's just another unspecial human. We get a close-up of his face covered in teeth. Side note, what's with all the close-ups? Like, seriously, the season spends so much time in close-up. It's awkward, isn't it? Like, right now. Then Sim Shaw draws his weapon and the doctor backs up. Like, alright, have it then. And yeah, I know that she did that so that he would absorb the thing and the bombs would be conveniently placed on him instead of the companions. But this is about first impressions, of which you only get one. And that sort of made her feel weak. In a show that is literally designed to be anything, I'm sure there could have been a better way to handle that situation. Or a better situation could have been devised. Jodie Whittaker's first episode, The Woman Who Fell to Earth, just sort of left me feeling like, can she even handle herself? And the rest of the season just kind of reinforced that, can she? And yeah, in the next episode, The Ghost Monument, which was easily the best episode of the season, she had that Venusian Aikido move, but all that really did was temporarily immobilize the opponent. Even she said she learned it from the Grandmaster Pacifist. The show used to be exciting, entertaining, a lot of running, action, and creativity. Some of the concepts that the show used to present opened my mind to all new out-of-the-box possibilities. And I used to adore the abstract storytelling concepts. Like, I wish I thought of that, and it absolutely inspired a lot of the concepts for stories that I did end up writing. Now, it's just sort of boring. Doctor doesn't run anymore, just kind of stands there and lectures. Capaldi lectured a lot too. His monologue at the end of the Zygon inversion was very heavy-handed. Ever the thespian. But at least it was believable and balanced with some exciting action, and it was good. I was into that finale at first too. The opening with the Ooks was pretty strong. I was hopeful that it might actually be a good episode. I mean, finales usually are pretty good, but man, it was anticlimactic. There just wasn't enough build-up, I guess. Just was a threat and then it was over. I hate to say it, but season 11 I just sort of watched out of obligation, out of a love for the show as a whole, out of a hope that next season will be better than this. What did you think about season 11? Do you like Jodie Whittaker as the Doctor? And what do you think about the announcement that she's going to be leaving the show after the next season? And subscribe to the mailing list at easilyamusedgroup.com for updates about my Star Wars fan film. Thank you for watching the Easily Amused Group, the show that no one talked about for a minute, so I forgot it was there.